A very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to News Tonight. We'll start with a look at the top stories. President Yoweri Museveni bids farewell to Senegalese President Macky Sall. Dr. Kizza Besigye prophesies doom if current standoff escalates. UNBS MD accuses board for soliciting 100 million of bribe to keep their job. While Uganda's debt approaching 50% of the country's GDP. News Tonight, it's me, Micheal Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni. This Wednesday, the 19th of July, 2023, warmly welcoming you. President Yoweri Museveni, in our first story, has today bid farewell to his Senegalese counterpart, Macky Sall, who has been on a two-day official visit to Uganda. President Sall came to the country yesterday on invitation of President Yoweri Museveni. During the pre-departure meeting held at State House in Entebbe, President Museveni showcased the different dairy products of Uganda, including milk, yogurt, butter and others to the visiting president in a bid for possible export market opportunities in Senegal, impressing his colleague. At midday, the Senegalese president was seen off to Entebbe International Airport for his departure. The meeting was also attended by the Foreign Affairs Minister, General Jeje Odongo, and other senior government officials. His Excellency Macky Sall becomes the second head of state to visit Uganda, and hosted by President Museveni in less than 14 days after that of Iran, President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, who was here on Wednesday last week. Prime Minister Robin Anabanja met leaders of Ugandans living and working in Rwanda as she concluded her visit in Kigali. The Association of Ugandans living in Rwanda has so far registered over 7,000 members. These briefed the Prime Minister about the challenges they face.
According to Haj Issa Wogire, the chairman of the Association of Ugandans in Rwanda, many Ugandans are facing challenges ranging from work permits, lack of access to loans, and heavy fines. Wogire says that they are happy that Uganda and Rwanda now have good, friendly relationships, and they are optimistic that this will help them flourish in business.
Bulinga mumbera nga bbiri basatu obusooka kibayita work permits. Emirimu egimu nga protocol emirimu egimu waliwo egitakkirizibwa kubanga omuntu afuna ki work permit ate nga abantu abasinga wano naddala ng'abakozi babaka babajja Uganda kati omwana najja n'asanga obuzibu abazze Uganda ku booda kibanga bamukyajinga ssente oba okutya n'okukola ki okuddayo ewaka.
However, Fred Sendaula, the speaker of the association, says that over 200 Ugandans are locked up in prisons in Rwanda and appeal to the government to help them out.
We previously requested through you that both governments review those cases that merit all cases to justice, thereby enabling the Ugandans to get closer to their families.
Dr. Andrew Seguya, a conservationist working with tourists in the countries of Uganda, Rwanda, and Democratic Republic of Congo, says that Uganda needs to invest more in the tourist districts because they fetch a lot of money to the economy.
Move the mountains up to Congo so that now they don't have to go into the national park where they get killed by animals and sometimes poach. This side of wind has no water. We have what we call the GEF, the Global Environmental Facility, which gives Uganda money on a yearly basis, grants.
The Deputy Ambassador to Uganda, Margaret Kidesi, says that the relations between Uganda and Rwanda are improving daily.
We are now on a cascading slope. We are going upwards in terms of our relationship. And one of our major focus here at this office is to ensure that these relations stay good and even improve.
The Prime Minister, while addressing Ugandans in Rwanda, assured them of government commitment to develop the country with several interventions.
Without peace, you cannot have economic activity to drive socio-economic transformation. And so we will continue to invest in peace and security to make sure that we consolidate the gains we have achieved and stop threats.
The Prime assured Ugandans in Rwanda that the government has created an enabling environment for investment and promised to address the issues raised.
Construction of more roads, the construction of dams like Karuma. The other day I was visiting Karuma, which is going to give us 600 megawatts to add on our grid. And we are also making sure that the transmission lines to evacuate that power and wheel it to the industries are done.
Justin Nakami, UBC News.
Now, within the larger war that is in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the warring parties carry out another war, and that is sexual violence against the women and girls in the area. With military activities increasing in one of the areas after another, so do evil activities such as rape and other crimes against women and girls. The women are a prime target of the separate ADF attacks. The incidents involving killings, sexual abuses and violations against humanity and war crimes. In our story, we share the sad stories of women who have been in ADF captivities for a long time, married at tender age, sexually abused and traumatized.
Sexual violence has been used as a weapon of war by most of the forces involved in this conflict. The ADF rebels, being part of the negative forces in Eastern Congo, frequently and sometimes systematically raped women and girls.
Kuchinja. Unaendelea tu kuishi kuhali ya unyonge hivyo hivyo.
ADF rebels rape women and girls as part of the more general attack in which they kill and injure civilians and destroy their properties. The ADF rebels do this to terrorize communities into accepting their control or to punish them.
Wale wa ADF ulendaka ilikuwa lendi bali tutosha mnyumba wakemuchinja wakenipeleka kule nikaenda kule mpori nyepeki.
Where they no longer conduct large attacks, individuals or small groups of rebel groups, they rape women and girls whom they find in the fields, in the forest and along the roads.
We've been following them. So far we have killed not less than 10. We have picked out a lot of guns. We have also rescued so many people since that time, not less than 20, and we continue to do so. We think the biggest part of the ADF, that's one commander is in Mwalika Valley, whom we are trying to follow, and this is part of the team that killed our children in that school.
These sexual violations meted on women and girls by the ADF have left many traumatized and count on the support or rescue missions of the UPDF and FARDC army.
Yenye tunaongea tunasema asante sana, muendelee kusaidia na wengine viko kule mpori wengine washabebewa nao banahitaji msaada. Walikuwa wanamuita Amir.
Abducted at the age of 14, 15 and 16 years and are sexually abused. The trauma can be vividly seen on their faces. She says many young girls still in the bush need UPDF and FARDC support to be rescued from tyrants of ADF. Yvonne Shashe was also abducted from Butembo and was forced to get married to one of the ADF commanders and has been the first marriage in the bush for 3 years. Yvonne is traumatized and speaks with bitterness when talks about ADF.
Tukiishi maisha mubaya, kukura mihogo, kuko na siku ya tulitawanyikaka tukemaliza miezi 2 bila kukura chakula, tunakunya tu maji basi.
These young girls were rescued by UPDF in Mwalika Valley in the night of crossfires against ADF Abuakas rebel group. These young girls who are below the age of 16 years, their dilemma is carrying unwanted pregnancies. At the front line, UPDF is pushing the ADF rebels, especially in Mwalika Valley and along River Tali and Samrik, the first jungles of Eastern DRC. Haruna Mtaisasira, UBC News.
The Executive Director, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, David Livingstone Ebiru, has accused his board members of soliciting 100 million shillings bribe from him to keep his job. This is after the IGG and the line minister had recommended to the board to sack Ebiru on grounds of not being qualified for the position of the managing director.
David Livingstone Ebiru, are you confirming to this committee that you bribed board members with 100 million shillings? I was asked through by the chair, and I must do the needful to cool down what is going on. And you gave them 100 million shillings? Yes, sir. Where did you?
There was a drama at Parliament as the UNBS officials continued to lay allegations of bribery and corruption against each other before the COSASE committee. Executive Director, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, David Livingstone Ebiru, accuses his board members of soliciting 100 million bribe from him to protect him from being sacked.
And you gave them 100 million shillings? Yes, sir. Where did you get the 100 million shillings from? I borrowed the money. So this was personal money? Yes, sir. And you handed it over to who? Through the representative of the chairman, one of the board members here, Mr. Omar. He came to my office and picked it from my office. Was it cash? It was in what? Cash. Cash. In a bag? In what exactly? In a bag. Okay, so just to understand again properly, so you're saying you borrowed this money and you're giving it to them for what? To cool down what exactly?
According to Ebiru, the IGG and the line minister had recommended to the board to terminate his contract on grounds of not being qualified for the position of the managing director.
Told, you see this? Read it, put it back. And that happened at a restaurant called Panamera in opposite Kampala Parents. It's opposite to Kampala Parents. Because the chairman residence is in Aburu, so he called me there. Come urgently. This is the issue. To cool this, do the needful.
The board members who were also present in an interface with COSASE denied the allegations of the bribe claim.
Mr. Omar.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Did you receive 100 million shillings from Mr. Ebiru?
Definitely not, Mr. Chairman. The first time I came into contact with that information was from a gentleman called Ronald, who works from the Ministry of Trade. He's in internal security, who brought it to my attention via a WhatsApp. In fact, I'm looking for the WhatsApp now. Who told me, you have to watch out, the ED is spoiling your name. He's claiming that he gave you people 100. Actually, he said the money was actually given to my colleague.
These revelations left the members of parliament sitting on COSASE committee in shock, prompting the committee members led by Joel Senyonyi to hand over the MD and the accused board members to CID for further investigations. Philip Aguta for UBC News at Parliament.
Here.
Former FDC President Dr. Colonel Kizza Besigye has called for calm within the party to avoid escalating the already bad situation. The appeal comes in the wake of the increasing tensions between warring factions in the party, with accusations related to money matters ruling the airwaves. Addressing journalists at Katonga Road offices in Kampala, Besigye decried tribalism tendencies, denying claims of fighting any eastern or northern leaders within the party. Henry Okrut was at Katonga and he reports.
Weeks after he was named in controversies surrounding mismanagement of affairs at FDC, Dr. Kizza Besigye has broken the silence.
We claim to have internal democracy. We want to have internal electoral processes that can bring in leaderships of the political parties. And because we are open organizations, transparent organizations, it is easy for the hand of the state captor to come in and also become a contestant.
This loud allegation comes just a day after he was accused of selfishness by a former leader in the party.
What you are seeing is people who were objective and had no interest other than building the party and offering alternative for the country have left. People like me, people like Muntu, and many other decent people.
Professor Ogenga Latigo's accusation did not end on Besigye. FDC Secretary General Nathan Nandala Mafabi is equally not off the hook.
For Nandala, it is material and financial benefit. For Besigye, this sense of this is me, this is mine, and what I say must prevail.
But what does Dr. Besigye say about all this?
And I have continuously sounded the warning that if we continue as we are, all political parties will indeed be captured.
This is just a snapshot of the cocktail of concerns surrounding the FDC party. The controversy regarding internal elections is just one of them.
Our own delegates who come from upcountry, they are accommodated in hotels, not by the party but by candidates. Accommodated in hotels, given money and so on. Once you take that path, you know you are on the path of death.
Where did this begin and how did it end up here, to the extent of threatening the party's future? Without mincing his words, here is Dr. Besigye's recollection, with the money matters becoming eminent.
So after 2016, I became firmly clear that I will not be a candidate under any circumstances in 2021.
All said and done, where does the party go from here?
That escalation is likely to continue if leaders don't step back, take a breath, and reconsider what all this means.
Two camps within the party, one for Dr. Besigye and another for Nandala Mafabi, obviously exist. Whether the duo will reach a common ground someday is largely dependent on how political maturity will play out. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Forum for Democratic Change political party president Patrick Oboy Amriat has also asked opposition parties to clean their respective houses in a bid to promote unity. Opoa says that the infights in political parties should not stop the agenda of unity, promising to find a permanent solution to the ongoing chaos at the FDC. While addressing a press conference at Najanankumbi, Opoa revealed that efforts to clean FDC have been ongoing for the last 3 years and now coming to an end.
On Monday this week, the FDC spokesperson Ibrahim Semujunganda convened what he describes as a consultative meeting, highly attended by some of the members of the FDC. However, the FDC leadership, including the party president and the Secretary General, criticized Semuju for convening an informal meeting.
If they were real genuine members of the party, you don't go and destroy the party in public. You come and fight internally.
The political party is not private, so you wanted us to sit in our homes and discuss a public institution.
And since then, verbal exchange has dominated the media space, accompanied by insults and blackmail, as alleged by both camps.
You have heard these are newcomers. One is about 2 years, another one is less than 10 years, but they are here wanting to take us. We have been in the trenches for the entire life.
According to the Najanankumbi camp, the infights have for the last 3 years been eating up the FDC party, downplaying the FDC system of conflict resolution.
Using these systems and mechanisms, we have tried to bring our brothers and sisters on table to understand what their grievances are and address them in-house.
Even in a country where murder is a crime, sentenced to death if you've been convicted, murders will go on. What is important is the application of the rules. That's what some of us are saying. But please, we need to apply the rules. If we have broken them, then you need to be dealt with under the rules. But our colleagues are saying, no, you don't want elections, you are fearing, we'll show you, let's go for elections.
In such circumstances, the victims always find a scapegoat in the NRM party, alleging the party's commercialization of politics in Uganda.
Honorable Semuja and others have also claimed, I made a deal with President Museveni to hand over FDC in the exchange for Bank of Uganda Governor, job now Minister of Finance. This allegation has been around since 2012.
You've seen what has happened to DP and UPC. And if you're not very careful, in FDC has been buying people and taking. Now, I think it is a tactic that you break the party into smaller units that you can swallow gradually, and then you swallow the whole party itself. That's what he has been doing.
This follows allegations that the FDC party secured 7 billion from an unknown source to bring down the Kamwesha-based National Unity Platform, which is currently the leading opposition party in Uganda.
There is an investigation by a committee of elders. I hope they will come to the bottom of that money. I am also as concerned as any other member. Why did this money come into our party? What were the conditions? Because the fear and genuine fear that I have, Museveni has been shopping individuals from political parties, but he has also been buying political parties as institutions themselves.
In Parliament, as the chief whip, as now a whip, who are those working and being paid in his office by Parliament? Never say you have a piece in your a speck in your eye when you have a log in your eye.
Nevertheless, the FDC party president Patrick Oboy believes that only unity can lead to a permanent solution to such chaos
and implement the programs of the party together.
As a leader in FDC, how should the public partake such in fights, or what image should the public take?
I think this is an indictment to those who have chosen not to work under one roof. This is not an indictment on us, the leadership in Nigeria and Kumbi, because we've religiously come here, attended to duty, done our business as FDC, and we have always called for unity within the party.
We must be the source, the base of stability within the opposition, the base of stability within the FDC. So we have to keep the FDC still steady. Even if the big shots are fighting, even if some people are fighting, let us not lose focus. We must not lose the direction where we want to go.
Uganda, after a referendum in 2005, restored multi-party politics, and since then, about 26 political parties are registered with the Electoral Commission. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. We'll take a short break. On return, we have more. Please keep it with us.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and get a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 billion were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the National Suppliers Database. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial *185*7*6# to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Welcome back from the break. It's UBC News Tonight. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has received a special message from the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi. The special message was delivered by President Tshisekedi's advisor, Tone Kanku Sheku, who was also accompanied by Minister for Regional Integration in DRC, Mbusa Nyamwisi, and Uganda's ambassador to DRC, Farid Kalisa, and other DRC senior government officials. President Museveni, who held mutual discussion with the delegation, thanked his DRC counterpart for his endless efforts in fighting terrorism and ensuring peace in the Great Lakes region. The 2022 Trafficking of Persons report indicates an increase of 779 trafficking cases registered. Women and children are the primary victims of the vice, which underscores the urgent need for stronger law enforcement, improved victim support services, and enhanced awareness programs. The report indicates unemployment, ignorance, and poverty as main drivers for the trafficking vice.
Human trafficking remains a grave concern worldwide, occurring both nationally and internationally, with a significant percentage of these crimes occurring domestically. Children and women are the primary victims through fraud and deception.
The perpetrators use fraudulent means, including forgery of travel documents, giving false information to government authorities, and using ungazetted exit and entry routes along the porous borders of the country.
Majority of the victims are subjected to sexual exploitation, while others suffer from labor exploitation and forced child marriage. Uganda is a major source and transit country for human trafficking through Jinja due to the presence of irregular and unregulated labor immigration. Uganda has not yet achieved the minimum standards required to effectively combat and eliminate trafficking in persons.
True, Uganda is ranked tier 2 simply because we have not met all the requirements needed to eliminate trafficking in persons. But currently what we are doing at the ministry, we have come up with a concept note which we are going to present to Cabinet, and it is about establishing regional reception centers.
Temporary shelters are being considered with support from civil society to house and rehabilitate rescued victims.
We want everybody to know that, first of all, there is this problem. And if you find it very easy to leave the country, you should be very suspicious. You know that other exporting companies require you to register and go through the process, but somebody comes and says, it's very easy for me, you will go tomorrow. You should be suspicious. So I call upon Ugandans to be aware that Ugandans are being trafficked and sold outside.
The Victims Fund can help Ugandans in areas of repatriation, which is a key issue or a challenge. You have seen videos in the social media where victims are crying for help from the government, and when that one is entrenched into the law, the Victim Fund, we shall have to mention the sources and how victims can be helped.
The Trafficking in Persons report for 2022 indicates an increase in trafficking cases up to 1,200 from 421 in 2021. Poverty and unemployment remain the key push factors for trafficking in persons, while the demand for non-skilled jobs in the Middle East is a major pull factor promoting the vice. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Raphael Majezi, the local government minister, has firmly denied allegations and rumors that government has abandoned the creation and implementation of Kampala City. Majezi reassured the public that Kampala City is already approved and is now only awaiting final steps before becoming operational.
This confusion stemmed from earlier concerns expressed by Henry Musasizi, the State Minister of Finance, about upgrading Kampala to a city. Minister Musasizi mentioned the financial burden that the new cities would impose on the struggling economy. These remarks led to the speculations that the government had shelved the plans for Kampala City. However, in response to this uncertainty, a group called the Kampala City Claim Forum was formed. This group has been actively advocating for the realization of Kampala City status.
But I remember when I went into a table's office.
Barnabas Tugumesiriza, the chairperson of the forum, said that the residents of Kampala municipality were disappointed by the possibility of losing the benefits that come with the city's status.
All over the world, it is believed that cities are a center of economic development and growth. So, following that global trend of urbanization, we are even here in Uganda, it is projected that by 2040, we shall have over 20 million of our people living in urban centers. Does that make sense?
Majezi recently addressed various stakeholders in Kampala municipality to provide clarity on the matter. He confirmed that Kampala City creation had received parliamentary approval in 2020 and emphasized the government's commitment to its operation.
Today, the lockup is being rented to Kuribakanya Bernard at 4 million shillings per year. Choktunji Agnes was allocated this lockup in January, the day before the official allocation date. There was no documentation available by Choktunji. She did not appear on the cleared register. The same lockup was allocated to another person called Vyaranga Alex on the day of allocation. But Alex had another allocation slip of another. So today, the person who is there
is Kulwakanyo Bernard, who paid 4 million to Chobutunji.
To ensure a smooth transition to city status, Minister Majeze urged the authorities of Kabale municipality to prioritize the development of a comprehensive physical plan for the town. This plan should include crucial aspects such as improved drainage systems, upgraded road networks, and enhanced structures in preparation for the operation of Kabale.
National Water and Sewerage Corporation has started pumping water from River Kagera for sustainable water supply to the people living in Kampala City following the drying of River Rizi, which has run out of water, frustrating most of the industries, including Nile Brewery's manufacturing plant, which was recently established in Kampala. The National Water and Sewerage Corporation has contracted Sogea Sotem, a French company, with a deadline of 2 years to complete the project.
One of Uganda's biggest rivers, River Rizi, feeding Lake Victoria, is drying up and has been reduced to almost a channel after years of environmental destruction, accelerating the impact of climate change. The dry up of River Rizi has affected the of water in the mid-western Uganda. The current water crisis in Kampala City is attributed to the encroachment of wetlands and forests that used to hold water and release it slowly to the rivers that are now suffering the effects of encroachment.
A lot of work has not been done by ourselves, by the leaders, by all the people responsible, the environmentalists, to protect it upstream, wherever it is coming from, all the tributes that add on it. So, as I told you, there is a lot of agriculture activity that is taking place wherever this river is passing.
However, to address the water crisis situation in Kampala City, National Water and Sewage Corporation has contracted a French company, Sogea Sotem, to start pumping water from River Kagera through the dry channels of River Rizi for a sustainable water supply in the city.
Kagera has bigger volumes, and we are bringing a quite huge volume of water from Kagera to supply the ever-growing city and the ever-growing demand within the Mbarara City, Mbarara District, Chirhura, Rwampara, Isinjiro, all the districts.
During the trail of the River Rizi stretch, we found technical engineers of National Water and Sewage Corporation carrying out what was described as dumping, an exercise geared at securing water for supply in the communities in the short run.
There is very little water within the river, so we want that little water to go into our sump, such that our pumps can be able to pick water. So without damming, the little water will not enter the pumps.
National Water in Kampala City has 2 plants with a storage capacity of 20 million liters of water. However, with the continuous dry up of River Rizi and the growing population in the city, it may not be sustainable to supply 2 million liters of water to the population, factories and industries on a daily basis. Against this background, National Water and Sewage Corporation is resorting to Plan B for pumping water from River Kagera. In partnership with National Water and Sewage Corporation, the Abahumuza Development Group has organized the Save River Rizi Marathon slated 30th July 2023 in Kampala City.
Nabwe tuza kugenda misho tubyare emiti kandi tugumizemu na campaign yo cleaning omujara gwitu, tugumizemu na campaign eyo kugambira buri omwe ninge chipa kweta environmental awareness and sensitization ya community.
Rizi is a Nyachitara word for flowing water. It is also the name of the river flowing from the hilly terrain of Weju, which washes through the dry land belt of Mbara and Rakai on its way to Lake Victoria. The river is regarded as a lifeline by pastoralists since it's the only source of water for cattle during the dry season in western Uganda.
Rwandese born in Uganda under their umbrella body Omubano Association have called upon government to take action against excessive discrimination they face in Uganda. This was communicated by the association's chairman, Dr. Ephraim Kamuhanjire.
Just tell you that
They say that at various instances, they have failed to acquire vital documents, such as passports and identification cards.
As they prepare to review the Constitution, we are planning to request the Parliament of the day to correct that name so that we are labeled as Uganda and Rwanda instead of just Rwanda.
They say that it's not their fault to be born by Rwandans. However, they believe that being born in Uganda should make them citizens of Uganda. They say that on several occasions, they have tried to acquire treatment abroad for their children, but it's impossible since they were denied passports.
You see, when you are filling a form to request for a passport, they ask you for your ethnicity or nationality, and you say Banyarwanda. Now that one is a flat definition. Now we want to qualify it to say Uganda and Banyarwanda. Now umubano is a cultural term which means togetherness, comradeship.
Umunyarwanda independence agweyasanga wano tubadde tusaba nti aweebwe Uganda.
It's against this background that they want government to come to their rescue.
So now we want to revive it and say, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, Honorable MP, our leaders, we want recognition as any other ethnic group in Uganda on Sunday, 23rd, where we shall organize a general meeting.
Njagala kutwala mwana wange India. Sikirizibwa kufulumya mwana wange kumutwala India lwansonga nti ndi Munyarwanda. Jjajjange azaliddwa wano, kitange azaliddwa wano, nzaliddwa wano. N'osanga nga tusosolebwa. Ne weebuuza twetwaza gwaki.
Gavumenti ewa omuntu scholarships e Makerere n'asobola okusomerayo. Ate mumeetya passport nti Munyarwanda.
Abanyarwanda bannayuganda muba widdimbi lyabwe.
No, Rwanda.
Minister for East African Affairs has pledged to address restrictions on Ugandan students seeking education in South Sudan. She promised to meet a council of ministers from East African Affairs to discuss some of the existing barriers affecting students to move from one country to another.
Kadaga disclosed this while at the groundbreaking ceremony of Phase 2 for the building facility of IUCEA headquarters in Chambogo. The proposed block covers 7,000 square meters on 4 acres of land donated by the government of Uganda.
This is now the second phase because we have an obligation to ensure that the Ita University Council has a good home, accessible by everybody, where the work of the East Africans can be done.
The issue of education restriction on Ugandan students has affected many of them seeking higher education in South Sudan. In terms of tuition, yet Uganda and South Sudan are members of the East African community.
Last year, after we had agreed to remove the payment of visas between Uganda and South Sudan, for us we had already waived, then we also asked them to waive. But after waiving, there was still another law, the Aliens Registration Act, where Ugandans are caught up under that other law.
South Sudanese in Uganda are not aliens, as the first Prime Minister said, just like the way Ugandans in South Sudan are not aliens. So something I'm also following up to say, can we put this thing away, since we are not aliens in our countries, where you happen, Ugandan going to South Sudan should feel at home, and the same way South Sudanese in Uganda feel.
Executive Secretary IUCEA, Professor Gaspard Banyakimbona, on behalf of the IUCEA and stakeholders, lauded Uganda for securing land for the facility.
The total cost, in all tax inclusive, is 8.4 million USD. So this is a big investment, and we shall follow it up to make sure that East African community money is valued.
We stand united by the common goal of advancing higher education
to address the challenges and seize opportunities of the 21st century. This headquarter will serve as a symbol of unity and progress, providing a central hub for cooperation, dialogue, and the sharing of ideas that transcend borders.
It's noted that the IUCEA registered a number of successes and served its purpose of establishment despite the challenges encountered. The first two construction projects should be completed, a period of 18 months being contracted to Siena Company. Justin Nakami, Sula Kabugube, UBC News.
Government Chief Whip Dennis Hamson Oboa has urged accountants and professionals from various sectors to actively participate in bolstering Uganda's socio-economic development efforts. He was speaking at the 11th Economic Forum by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda at the Imperial Resort Hotel in Entebbe. The annual forum aims at deliberating and proposing recommendations that would propel the nation towards a modern and prosperous future.
Our economy is about $49.4 billion US. In other words, the economy has expanded by more than 30 times since 1986.
The government chief whip, Dennis Hamson Oboa, has emphasized the pivotal role of accountants in enhancing accountability and integrity, key factors in achieving socio-economic growth.
If we can have the budget discipline, if we can fight corruption, among others, the resources that we have can transform this country. Our commitment and our determination is not in any way in doubt.
Oboa, who was giving a keynote address at the 11th Economic Forum by ICPAO, encouraged their involvement in government initiatives such as PDM to expedite grassroots development.
So PDM is one program that we feel will transform this country, especially on the question of fighting poverty, if the 39% of our people who are still in poverty can embrace it. The other one is growth in regional trade. The question of widening the tax base, you, the accountants, you need to help us.
The president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Josephine Okuyi Osia, highlighted the forum's significance as a critical platform for experts to discuss economic policies and present recommendations to the government for consideration.
So the priorities will be looking at cooperative societies as a driver for socio-economic transformation, the role of security in nation building, empowering communities through agricultural value addition, socio-economic benefits and challenges of labor exports, reforms in the educational curriculum, Uganda's oil and gas sector, focusing on the value chain for public value, hospitality, tourism management and marketing, and industrialization as a driver for self-reliance.
The secretary of the Institute, Derek Nkajja, said the CPA Economic Forum provides professionals with an opportunity to collaborate, exchange ideas, and contribute to Uganda's economic progress.
Each Ugandan with a national identification number should file tax return. That will greatly expand the tax base, because then you will have the data where tax lies.
This year's forum featured an array of topics ranging from national priorities of socio-economic development to cooperative societies as drivers for socio-economic transformation and empowering communities through agricultural value addition. The outcome of this forum foster transformative change and pave the way for a thriving economy and improved livelihoods in the country.
To Uganda's budget financing challenges, with less than 50% of Uganda's budget financed through domestic revenue.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The Sabella Festival of the Nubian Culture and Apex International University have signed a memorandum of understanding to benefit both the Nubians and the university in terms of education and promotion of culture at the headquarters of the Apex International University in Kachiri, Wakiso District.
The Sabella Festival has previously been held annually in both Kenya and Uganda since 2006. The festival celebrates Nubian culture, food, fashion, attire and music. It features music performances from various Nubian bands across East Africa. Therefore, this year's festival is going to happen on the 2nd of September 2023 at Imperial Royal Hotel in Kampala, Uganda. After signing the memorandum, the CEO and founder of the Sabella Festival, Yusuf Noah, digested the details of the signing of the memorandum.
We are looking into a more meaningful way of cultural preservation. The most meaningful way I'm talking about is educational institution, sports organization, something that we can use to give back to the community. So our partnership with Apex International University, it's very meaningful because they have offered us 5 scholarships.
He also expressed why it is so important for someone to promote and give respect to his or her culture.
As you can see what is written here, let's all culture coexist better. We are inviting other communities to join. We show them what we do. And as I said, we are not exclusive as a community.
The granddaughter to late Eid Amin Dada, Sauda Leah Jafari, and the brand ambassador of the Sabella Fest, expressed pride in promoting her culture.
To promote our culture, like we're going to be embracing our culture through our cuisines, arts and crafts, that's the Kuta and the Tabaga.
The communication director of Sabella Fest, Naima Issa, revealed what to expect at this year's event.
We are showcasing our culture in general, but our culture speaks so much to who we are, what we dress, what we eat, our outfit. Like I'd said earlier, our dress code has influenced so many outfits, our dress codes in the culture in Uganda, the Ankole, the Toro, the Banyoro. So we just need people to come and understand where this came from and how did it infiltrate in their cultures.
Apex
Cabinet has resolved to decisively deal with factors that cause road accidents. While addressing the media in Kampala, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, Minister for ICT and National Guidance, said that Cabinet observed a number of factors to deal with, which include handling drink driving, overspeeding, road rage, among others.
The government is focusing on solving the issue of the rising road carnage in Uganda. The Minister for Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has briefed the media on the measures government is taking to curb all factors down. He says Cabinet has resolved that laws be amended to decisively deal with the factors that are causing road accidents.
They have already started because the Attorney General made a presentation on some of the proposals. So at the earliest, the proposed amendments should be tabled again in the Cabinet and Parliament for passing.
Baryomunsi adds that government is to set up enforcement with effective regulation and management of road transport services.
We agreed to increase road safety sensitization and awareness creation so that we use the different media platforms to sensitize the public, including the drivers and owners of vehicles, to understand what the law says and how to safely use our roads.
Cabinet further observed the progress of the implementation of the parish development model, including key emerging issues and recommendations.
We observed that while government had announced that beneficiaries will be receiving 1 million shillings, in some areas, some corrupt people were making beneficiaries to sign for 100 million and then they receive less, maybe 400,000, 500,000. And we did instruct that wherever we find that kind of situation, the responsible officers shall be arrested.
Mario Nawori and Jane Nyiramjisha for UBC.
MTN Uganda ne Uganda Warranty bakutusako. Manra menchikonatera. Tekobuseko season yakuna. Savu July kuma mal papa's hall. Usasule kwa MTN mobile money. Usasule gumu chitundu. MTN usasule nega nkomitano. Niga sistemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha. Kwa MTN ofune tiketi yokati. Wabula kumliango. Usasule mitwale ibiri. Yepe mitwale tano. Ate meza ya milioni biri. Munana July. Koni ni hotel mkono mwenda July. Nikan Resort Airways. Kuminatan July France Africa Jinja. Habili mbili July. Maria Flema Saka. Habili mwenda July Afro Club Eka Sangati. Ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo. Wafujini Dwamo Sente. Talent Africa. Victoria University. Suzu Property Consultants. Pepsi Max. Uganda Warranty. Ne.
MTN.
In business, Economic Policy Research Center urges effective debt management for Uganda's benefit. In a recent study, the Economic Policy Research Center highlighted the need for the Ugandan government to efficiently manage the surging debt burden for the well-being of all Ugandans.
Researchers emphasize the importance of physical discipline and warn about the rising debt stock, which is approaching 50% of the country's GDP. The Micheal University-based think tank urged government to optimize expenditures, creating a sustainable, inclusive, and environmentally responsive debt atmosphere.
Be careful that it doesn't hurt growth. It doesn't hurt growth because we need to get on a growth path to be able to raise enough revenue to pay back our debt. Okay. So it's a trade-off. You must be careful. Don't overdo it.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought matters of debt acquisition, structure, usage, and sustainability to the forefront of economic concerns. According to the EPRC, the excessive increase in debt is a significant concern as a debt repayment is taking up a considerable portion of the government's budget, leaving limited resources for critical sectors. In the current fiscal year, debt servicing accounts for 35% of total government spending, while only 18% is allocated to human capital development.
Because if the quantum gets out of hand and you cannot service your debt, or you service it at the expense of other priorities such as education, health, and the well-being of the society, and then you also acquire debt, and then the consequences of debt.
As a response, the Ministry of Finance, represented by Permanent Secretary Ramadhan Govi, who is the board chairman of the Economic Policy Research Center, stated that the government is adopting a new strategy to reduce unnecessary expenditures and enhance fiscal discipline. Uganda's current debt stands at 80.7 trillion Ugandan shillings.
The government has cut travel abroad. Now travel abroad is for only statutory, those people who are entitled by law to travel abroad. I had nothing much to do with those ones. Our bosses. One point in time, a few years ago, about 2 years ago, government was spending 241 billion to travel abroad.
However, analysts emphasize the importance of clearing all maturing debts in a timely manner to prevent debt multiplication. Even though the government claims that the debt is manageable, economists are sounding an alarm on debt sustainability. Currently, Uganda's debt stock stands at approximately 49% of the gross domestic product. Mario Nawori and Dennis Sigoa for UBC.
Iwakato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1# and select call all networks.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Over the past 6 years, Rotary Club of Chiwatule has used sports to help improve health, water and sanitation, education and literacy, and economic empowerment. The past editions have raised more than 120 million shillings that have helped the disadvantaged in the communities. This they do through a Rotary 5-a-side football tournament, whose 2023 edition has witnessed drawing of teams ahead of action this weekend. The games to be played at the Philip Omondi Stadium will be in the 3 categories of corporate, Rotary and Rotaract.
Chance to do the club, to do the project itself, or it can decide to partner with one of the clubs or give the money to one of the clubs, Rotary clubs, to implement the project. So that's what Rotary Club, Rotary 5-a-side is about. This is the 7th edition. We have been carrying out these tournaments and we have raised a substantial amount of money. For Rotary Club of Chiwatule, the money we have raised, we have put up a health center in Amorata, over 200 million. And this year, if we get more money, we intend to equip 8 health centers across the country and also implement the mental health project across the country.
In terms of eligibility, on the side of Rotary, as a starting point, all players must be Rotarians. And we put in place mechanisms to make sure that we do not have mercenaries on the pitch. They must be registered and fully appreciated as Rotarians. The same goes with the Rotaractors. We are working with Rotaract clubs, and you must be a Rotaractor and well defined as per the whims of Rotary. The third category is the corporate. You must be an employee of that institution that is being registered to work or to play in the tournament.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight, because at 10 p.m. we shall have Behind the Headlines that you do not want to miss. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakon and the whole team. Bye-bye and good night.